there are any questions that will need a longer answer, then I might come back to them during the next podcast, or we can agree to get together over Skype, depending on the nature of your query. So now it is the time that I said I will start this live Q&A. My name is Rita Rosenbach. I am the founder of multilingualparenting.com and leader of the group that you are in at the moment, the Multilingual Parenting Facebook group. My book is Bringing Up a Bilingual Child, and I help parents and educators raise children to speak more than one language. I will start with some questions that have been sent in to me, and sorry, I'll have to read some of this from a paper. So Juliana asked me, how can a minority language parent who is trying to pass on a non-native language best where the periods of life where speaking in the minority language gets put on the back burner, for example, when the parent is ill or if there's an extended vacation in the majority language? I absolutely understand that, because there are times in our lives when as important as the language is, we can't offer as much exposure as would be ideal for our children. So how do you get past this? My recommendation is that have audios ready that you can listen to, that the child can listen to over your phone, depending on where you are, or on the laptop, and DVDs. They are. I know I often say that one-way exposure through a children's program isn't as good as two-way interaction, and that's absolutely true. And a child needs to interact in a language to be able to learn it and to pick it up. But it is definitely better than nothing at all. So if you don't have the chance, then someone else can arrange for your child to watch a DVD or listen to an audio, and maybe even read from a book. It's not a big deal that you, maybe the person reading the book in a language isn't a native speaker. A child knows instinctively when someone knows the language well and who's not a native speaker. So not to worry too much about that. An other question I had was from Miriam, and I'll read Miriam's message a bit, because it is typical for many parents who have maybe started on the journey of passing on a minority language, but then life happens. As I often say, child goes to school and the majority language take over, and you just don't have the focus. And you notice, at some point you notice that, oh, we're all speaking the majority language now. It happens very easily, and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. It's just how things go sometimes. So Miriam writes as follows: I have 3 children born here in the US. My husband is from South Africa and I'm German. My oldest spoke fluent German. My middle child also started speaking German in his toddlerhood. So 2 children well on their way. Then number 1 started preschool, and the first language became second, and it went downhill from there. This is a very typical situation. I did not notice it as much then, but somehow over the years we ended up only speaking English. My third child now understands some, but doesn't speak any. So unless I ask her specifically to repeat after me. So we have 2 children speaking somewhat and the third understanding, which is still great. And so Miriam wants to get back to raising her kids fully bilingual and ask, is it too late? Oh, definitely not too late. You can always start again. It's never too late. It doesn't matter if children are toddlers, school age, teenagers, or young adults. Even as an adult, you can pick up a language again. In a family where you've been speaking the minority language and then it's kind of gone into the majority language after that, it is good to make a very conscious decision. If there are 2 parents, and then discuss this together and decide what you're going to do. Preferably even set up a schedule and say that we will dedicate Sunday afternoons to speaking the language, or we will do something special on these days. And it's important not to make the schedule too arduous. Don't try to switch all of that. Right, okay, we need to get back to this, so let's just do it, everything in this language. Don't find a way where it feels okay, and most of all for kids, make it fun, make it interesting. Come up with something that they really, really want to do, and then find a way to do that in the minority language, because you need to get the children to be with you. You can't push them. It's very difficult to push a child or try to kind of put your foot down and say, now you are going to speak this language. I know there are those parents that do that, and some of them are successful. It's just not my preferred way. I prefer that parents can be positive and the children are the ones that say, let's do this, I want to, because when the willingness to learn comes from inside the child, then they learn in a way which is natural, and they want to, and they will be the one asking for it. So, and as an answer to Miriam, yes, it can be done. Don't expect a huge change, and don't plan a huge change straight away. Do take small steps, baby steps. Show your appreciation every time when your children answer in the language, and take it from there. But stick to it. Create a schedule and stick to it, and then come up with, if something doesn't work, then change the strategy. Come up with something else. Ask your children for ideas. What would they really, really want to do in the language? And then let me just see. Just checking the comments. Please do comment and ask a question. I can't see any comments at the moment, so please do feel free to ask a question if you have one. Thank you, Marilis. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You had 49 days vacation in Puerto Rico. What fantastic. And I couldn't agree more. If you do have the chance to take your child to somewhere where they can speak the minority language and they are fully surrounded by it, and they realize that actually I need this language here, then we have the need and they want, because they want to be able to communicate with other children and other relatives and whoever you're visiting. So that's always been something that parents iterate, that if you have the chance to do a visit, then do it. Plan it in if you possibly can. Thank you, Marie-Lise. Another question that came in was from Trin in the US. It's a more specific one. Let me see. Her son is in a two-way bilingual immersion program with English and Spanish. That means learning the languages in all the topics in both languages. And she has noticed that English is her son's stronger language and Spanish is the weaker one. And then she has noticed that if her son takes her maths tests in his weaker language, then his results drop by 30 to 40%, and she's asking what to do. Should she insist on it being in Spanish or leaving it to English? Like I always say, languages are important, but if the language affects school success, or if it affects family relations, then you have to seriously consider whether this is the right thing to do. I would definitely recommend Trin to let her son take the maths test in the stronger language, in English, because just doing the language or the test in a specific language for the sake of it doesn't make sense, and we also have to be wary of forcing children to do something in a language if they feel uncomfortable or unhappy about it. So there are plenty of other topics that will still be in the second language, in Spanish in this case, so that's fine. So I would do those tests in English, which is the child's stronger language. Thank you for your comment, Leanna. So you made a schedule to speak in the mornings, but you keep forgetting. Right. What I found quite useful, and what children usually like, is that you make them the guardian of this. They will, if you forget, they will get a reward. You can make it whatever, a little bit of more playtime, more extra cookie, I don't know, whatever suits your parenting style, but something so that they will be the ones picking up on, hey mom, you forgot, you now owe me this. Children just loves being that. I know a good friend of mine who is switching between two different languages with her children. She has said that her children are the ones who keep her on track, and give that responsibility to the kids. They will make sure you stick to it. San Marie, singing with a trilingual toddler, should I stick to my language with him, or is it okay to use this majority language or other? Singing, please sing in the language you feel you want to sing. It is this thing with consistency. Yes, it is important, especially if there is very little exposure. The less exposure, the more important the consistency is. But for songs, just sing them in the language that you feel comfortable with. It is fine to sing in other languages. Like I also say, don't worry too much if your child wants you to read a book in the language, as long as it doesn't go into that the child always brings you a majority language book if you are the minority language parent. But don't be too strict. Keep it fun, and maybe you can see if you've been singing a song in one language, maybe you can find for many songs you'll find the lyrics in different languages, so you can make a game of that as well. Oh, fantastic, Marilis, yes. So I know kids just love this when they can keep track of their parents. Yeah, mamá español, por favor. That must be music to your ears, Marilis, when he says that to you. And then I have a question from Solar, who lives here in the UK. I will read it out as she writes it. So she's got a dilemma. She's a mum of a 2-year-old boy who lives in the UK, and her partner speaks Punjabi and she speaks Polish. And between them, they speak English. This is a very much typical situation in families where English becomes was the language between the parents before the child was born, and then at that point both parents start to speak their minority language with the child, which means that there are now 3 languages in the family. So her son knows some words, ABC and numbers in English, because he's been watching YouTube and CBBC programs, okay? And she wants him to learn Polish, which is her mum's native language, and so he knows some Polish body parts, but not in English. And should she teach him, or should she just talk to him in Polish, and only when the dad is in the room in English? Solar feels a bit confused. She doesn't want her son to get to the point that he doesn't understand any of what's spoken. She wants him to speak Polish to her, and it would be okay if his son would also learn Punjabi. But dad is apparently not giving the pressure. So for dad, it would be either English or Polish, which is fine. And Sola wants to homeschool her son, and thinking of getting a teacher for English grammar at some point. Okay. Since the family lives in the UK, the child will learn English to a native level at some point. I don't find it necessary for parents to teach the majority language. That will come in a natural way through playgroups, through friends, and other activities. There is, of course, a slight difference if the child is not going to a majority language nursery and is being homeschooled. Then my recommendation is to at least arrange some interaction with children of the majority language alongside the minority languages. I would recommend Sola to concentrate on the Polish, because if she will be the only Polish exposure for the son, then that's important that he gets used to speaking Polish with her. Whether Punjabi is an important language, that's of course for the father to decide, or the family to decide together. If the father won't speak Punjabi, then the son will most likely not learn it, unless there are some other lessons. So that's something family needs to decide. As it is now, it sounds like Punjabi would be left behind. So concentrate on the Polish, arrange some English exposure as well through interaction with other children, and think about Polish or the Punjabi as well. Thank you, Katja, for your question, which is that you have 3 languages used in the family. So you speak Russian, Dad speaks Italian, and then there's German in the nursery. And you use the one parent, one language. Right, and then Daddy doesn't understand Russian. And you think it would be better that when you're together that you would speak Italian. So I hope I didn't mix up the languages earlier on. So Mom Russian, Dad Italian, and nursery German. Right. First of all, what I would do is to discuss this with Daddy, with your husband. The natural thing for your child to do is to answer you in the language that you normally speak. So I would be very cautious about trying to change that. But that, of course, very much depends on the dynamics within your family and whether your husband would be okay that she answers you in Russian. Discuss this, and if he feels that and the best thing would be if he feels that he is left out, that he would mention that when it feels like that, so you can make sure to translate. The thing is, he will, it will happen. He will learn to understand some Russian, not at the same pace as your child will learn Russian. But if he is if he's got a positive attitude about learning about languages, and when he's following a conversation, he will pick up some of it. And if you, in addition to that, can agree amongst you that you ask when you don't understand something, then that would allow you to use Russian with your daughter, even if your husband is there. But as I said, this depends on the dynamics between you and their dad to see if this works. The thing is that as long as the child is at home, then usually there is enough exposure to the minority language, and it's okay. When a child then goes to nursery, like your daughter is in the German nursery, the German will soon become a very strong language with her, and the more used to it she is, that she should always speak Russian with you and Italian with her dad, the better she will stick to it. Otherwise, what easily happens is that they just slip into whatever language the child feels most comfortable with. So that would be my recommendation with regards to the to your situation, Katja. Please do ask any further question if you want, if you have still something you think about. And those were the questions for this time. Thank you very much for joining. I can do a quick, if you still have something, I can do answer a quick one. Thank you, Katja. And I will do more of these in the future. We get a lot of questions into the family language coach team, and at the moment there is about a 2-month wait for getting the answer to the questions. So please participate whenever I try to make this regular, and I will be online. And if you follow this, you should get a notification when I'm live the next time. But I'll make sure to make an announcement in the group as well. So thank you very much for being here. So I didn't have to be here all on my own. I really enjoyed this, and thank you so much. And thank you for your positive feedback. It makes my day. Every time when I hear a parent say that they've been helped by my advice, it really makes my day. Thank you so much, and have a good day. Bye.